Mitchell gunning end zone. Markin Michelle. It's intercepted. Picked off.
Calgary fans are going to wonder about the call or the decision to go deep when you're in field goal range to tie it. Bo Levi Mitchell wanted to go after this win.
I said I wanted the ball in my hands at the end of the game, and it was, and I didn't get it done. Yeah, I mean, it hurts.
That just be the motivation.
Mitchell lays it out again, and it is caught. It's caught.
A lot of us guys in here have worked really hard. We're ready to get the season going.
I just think it's our year, man, to get over that hump.
And Masoli calls his number. Masoli could score. He is going to score.
I can't wait. It's been a long time coming. A lot of build up to this first game.
About to kick off a new season for the Stampeders. Isn't that a nice pose? Yeah, they're ready. See what the Stamps can do. They were the best in everything in 2017, except that final game. They got Hamilton on the CFL on TSN.
You know, Rod, everybody wants to talk and focus on 0-2 the last couple Grey Cups. Hey, I want to focus on 56-10-2 over the course of his career. This guy, all he does is win. That's Bo Levi Mitchell. He's going after another Grey Cup opportunity this year.
Well, after starting 0-8 last year, the Hamilton Tiger Cats decided to make a quarterback change. And it was this guy, Jeremiah Mazzoli. And all he did was led his team to a 6-4 victory or whatever. Sorry about that.
Well, you know what? I've heard all the hype about me getting in the game. You know what? I don't want to play in this game. I hear this Calgary team is very good. Johnny Manziel collect all the knowledge because the quarterback on the other side, Bo Levi, hey, he's pretty good when you want to learn from this game.
Absolutely, yeah. 6-4 record, Milt Stegall. That's not bad at all.
6-4 record, that's what I meant to say.
Yeah, I knew that. I knew that too. And Jeremiah Mazzoli is the guy coming into this one. Part one of a doubleheader. We're back in studio after our whirlwind trip in the West, and we enjoyed it. But we're looking forward to these ones now, beginning with Hamilton and Calgary. And yeah, it's been much talked about. I mean, 15-2-1. 2 years ago, no Grey Cup. Way to go, Henry. And then last year, 13-4-1. Best team in the CFL. Still no Grey Cup after the loss to the Argos. Is the Stampeders team still the best coming into this season?
They are the best, but they won't dominate the regular season like they have in years past. They'll still be the best team in the regular season, and they still may get to the Grey Cup, but they won't dominate anymore in the regular season like that.
Yeah, changes in secondary, changes at rush end, changes at receiver, there's changes at running back. There's a lot of changes for the Calgary Stampeders. The only thing that's not going to change is them winning because that's what they do in that organization.
Well, I mean, they have a subtle thing that they stick with. It's the veterans. They keep the veterans consistent in that locker room. And, yeah, we just saw last night Charleston Hughes, big-time veteran in that locker room, just had 3 sacks for Saskatchewan. He'll be a guy they have to replace, but they still got Micah Johnson. They still got Alex Singleton.
Bowders,
core guys, great players.
Cordero Law.
And Eric Rogers, he's not bad either.
Yeah.
One of the subplots last time Hamilton was in Calgary, they lost 60-1. Looking to make a difference this time around.
Let's go! Podcast on me! 1, 2, 3!
Podcast! Saturday Night Football on CFL on TSN.
For a year if a kickoff's returned for a touchdown in this game, thanks to the Safeway Sobeys $1 million touchdown to win promotion. And if it happens a second time, well, Beverly, you could win $1 million. Good luck with that as we go to McMahon Stadium in Calgary and join Chris Cuthbert and Glenn Suter.
Thank you, Rod. Bit of a great day here. It's the 2018 Curtain Raiser in Calgary. The two-time defending Western champion Stampeders play host to the Hamilton Tiger Cats at McMahon Stadium.
Well, since the middle of May, all the talk has been about the backup quarterback in Hamilton, and that's Johnny Manziel. But make no mistake, the starter, and he earned it from a 6-4 record last year, is Jeremiah Mazzoli, who threw for more yards than any quarterback after he took over in September. He has the keys to the car. And I agree with Matt Dunnigan. Bo Levi Mitchell for the Calgary Stampeders just keeps on winning. This is start number 69. He has not lost a game to the Hamilton Tiger Cats in his now 7th-year career.
Speaking of wins, Dave Dickinson now 28-6-2 as the head coach. There's been some changes, a younger team. And June Jones on the other sideline. What a turnaround when he took over 6-4 down the stretch. Ticats looking for just their second season-opening victory in the last 11 years underway in Calgary, and it's Terry Williams on the return, and he brings it back around the 30-yard line, a 29-yard return. Bo Levi Mitchell, a little leaner this year. He's lost 22 pounds and healthier after a off-season of rehabbing a sore
During
shoulder.
the return, holding, Calgary, number 46. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Well, they'll start drive number 1 of 2018 in a bit of a hole, but you're right. It was underreported last year. He didn't make it an excuse, but that arm was bothering him, and shoulder, his passing arm. Got that rehab through the offseason, lost some weight. One of the best quarterbacks I've seen in some time negotiating the pocket, and a pure winner. 56, 10, and 2 as a starter in Calgary.
That penalty's being enforced from the 14-yard line back to the 7. First down.
Boy, it becomes a long field in a hurry after that holding call off the kick return. One of the questions with a healthier Bo Levi Mitchell, we're not going to see him scramble and take off like Jeremiah Mazzoli, but will we see a little bit more running from a guy that only took off 3 times last year for 17 yards? From the 6 they start, and Mitchell going to the air to test a young secondary, and he's got Reggie Beggleton. After a slip-up, Richard Leonard, who had a terrific rookie year, slipped on the play. It's a 40-yard connection.
Now that gets you out of the hole immediately. Take a shot deep. It's the corner route. You're right. Leonard tried to get physical at the point of the break for Beggleton, and he slipped going inside. Beggleton makes the catch, gets his team out of the hole.
And this receiving corps for Calgary, Mitchell has said might be the best he's had, and arguably the best in the Canadian Football League. Jordan in motion. It's Mitchell pumping once, and now looking to the near sidelines. Pass intended for Tavares Daniels as we set the high-powered Stampeder attack.
We will see Terry Williams in the backfield. Don Jackson will start. Kamar Jordan looking to bounce back from a mistake in the Grey Cup. Every player makes mistakes. It's how you bounce back from it. I think Kamar Jordan will do that this season. They get Derek Dennis back at left tackle. 1 year in Saskatchewan last year, back with the Calgary Stampeders, where it all began for him.
2 long-timers, Dan Federkyle, Rob Cote retiring. Anthony Parker was released. There's Mitchell over the middle. Beggleton's wide open again. It's a first down for the Stampeders. And just like that, they're in Ticat territory at the Hamilton 44.
See Mitchell with time to throw. He's going to retreat a little bit to buy him some extra time. But right now, a real young secondary in Hamilton. Changes back there outside of Richard Leonard's only in season 2. 2 rookie corners.
First down, and here is the newcomer running back, Don Jackson, and he has 6.
They've got some building blocks, that Ticat defense, that's for sure. I mean, it starts up front with Ted Laurent in the middle, one of the best tackles in the game, period. Larry Dean came on in the second half of the season last year, top linebacker and all-star, and there's Richard Leonard, finished second to Ed Gainey in interceptions.
2nd and 4 to the wide side. Markin Michelle and Frankie Williams on the scene. Another Stampeder first down. And again, raw rookies on the corner. Williams and Jamal Roll for Hamilton.
Well, and you can't see him in the picture. And this is what happens with young corners. Frankie Williams and Roll, they're going to give some room. They don't want to get beat deep out of the gate, so they're backing off and leaving some room. But right now, it's pitch and catch for Bo Levi Mitchell.
And the drive began on the Calgary 6-yard line. 6th play of the drive. And they'll pitch it to the left side for Jackson. And he'll get tossed down. Good defensive play there by the safety, Mike Daly.
Well, they have Orlando Steinauer in the organization again, but he's on the other side of the ball. And the defensive coordinator for Hamilton is a familiar face to football fans in North America. Jerry Glanville will take over this Hamilton defense and has history with June Jones. Of course, there's his career in the NFL.
He's got history with everybody.
Yeah,
he's been coaching since 1967. So it'll be fun to hear from Jerry Glanville this year. 2nd and long. They dump it off over the middle. And it's Michelle trying to duck back inside. And he is pulled down after another Calgary first down.
Now, last year, the Calgary Stampeders' leading receiver was Marquay McDaniel. Marquay McDaniel is no longer here. Right in that inside spot. Number 80, Markin Michelle, just taking that little under route and then making something happen after the catch. But Marquay McDaniel was around 19th in the league, and he was the Calgary leading receiver. Some injuries kept DeVaris Daniels off the field at times.
Mitchell 4 for 5, 79 yards so far. Going to the air again. He's got an open man. Unable to connect with Kamar Jordan.
Mitchell is throwing on time. I mean, that one he just missed, but he is throwing on time on this corner route. And right now, again, he's got that young secondary for Hamilton on their heels. Look at how much space there is between Richard Leonard and Kamar Jordan on this corner route. Just misses him. But the ball's coming out of Mitchell's hands on time.
Ricky Richardson, Danny, one of the pleasant surprises in the Calgary camp, has checked into the offense. Ninth play of the drive, 2nd and 10. Mitchell looks into the end zone, and that one off the upright. Ticats get a break from the extra defender on the field.
Well, I was going to say, it looked like he had him too. Donna Numba, it looked like he was in coverage right at the top of your screen here. And there was a step or two in behind coverage. Bo put some air under that throw, but didn't account for the upright.
So some missed opportunities. Although Dave Dickinson looks like he liked what he saw in that opening drive.
Oh, yeah.
Here's Rennie Paredes putting it through for points of the season for the Stampeders. Just under 5 minutes in, 3-0 Calgary. And now we'll see Jeremiah Masoli, the hottest quarterback in the Canadian Football League from September 1st on last year. The CFL on TSN is brought to you by the Nissan Titan, official vehicle of the Canadian Football League. So now we get to look at the Ticat offense for the first time in 2018, led by Jeremiah Masoli, who had 300-yard passing games in each of his last 5 to win 2017. Averaged 362 yards passing a game in that stretch. And going to work early, and he has a connection. Pass complete to Jalen Saunders, 5th in the league in receiving last year with 1,170.
Yeah, nice dig route. Time for Jeremiah Masoli. Steps up in the pocket. First play of the 2018 season, a completion to his number 1 receiver last year.
3 100-yard games for Saunders. Brandon Banks finished with 5 straight 100-yard games, and they throw the hitch his way. Here's Speedy Banks, bumped out of bounds by the veteran Brandon Smith.
Take a look at the Ticats offense. Luke Tasker had the most catches in the offense, but it was Saunders with the most yards. He starts again at that slot back spot for Jeremiah Masoli. And University of Calgary draft pick from Burlington, Darius Sirocco, starting at right guard. Boy, June Jones loves his O-line, and they've got flexibility. Some great Canadians backing up some of the guys up front.
Excited for the kid. Here's Nikita Whitlock in the backfield on 2nd and 5, and he'll be short of the first down. Converted defensive lineman.
Well, watch one of the best defensive players in the year on the year last year in Alex Singleton step up and play the run. He's got to get past that block up front by Mike Filer and then stop it in its tracks.
Defensive Player of the Year credentials on display early this season. Liram Haralahu on his 3rd team, a prized free agent signing by the Ticats. Looks for the corner, and that one out of bounds. See where they mark it, just outside the 15-yard line. Well, Ticat fans do not want to be reminded, but let's flash back to late July, the last visit, a 30-point second quarter en route to a 60-1 thrashing. And the reason it's significant is following the game, June Jones was approached, joined the team for the next game in Edmonton, although was not part of the coaching staff at the time, but shortly thereafter became the head man in Hamilton. Mo's going to air it out again, and it's wide open again.
Oh, just missed it.
And just missing the intended target. Don Jackson out of the backfield.
Yeah, right down the rail, back out of the backfield. Lines up there. So Bo Levi Mitchell knows the matchup immediately, and he gets the matchup he wants on Simone Lawrence. You can see Jackson in behind, but another close miss for Mitchell.
Had some open targets, and it easily could be a couple of touchdowns already. Now Mitchell steps up in the pocket, wide open. Mark and Michelle, there are acres in front of him, and finally closing was Richard Leonard. But nobody in the vicinity when Michelle made the catch.
Yeah, this young defense on its heels. That was a bust in coverage because Bo Levi Mitchell has a choice here. He could run for 30, 40 yards, or look at the space he has in front of him. I mean, it's wide open. That's a bust in coverage with a halfback or a corner, one or the other, depending on the zone call. Both went deep. No one stayed in the flat.
27 yards, and Bo Levi Mitchell's over 100. Less than 8 minutes in, hands it off to Jackson, former Green Bay Packer, who will share duties at the running back spot along with Terry Williams.
A couple years ago, played a couple games for the Packers, grew up in Elk Grove, California, getting a chance to play. No Jerome Messam in the lineup for Calgary this year. He's a Saskatchewan Rough Rider. We saw him last night, and we will see Terry Williams as well in this backfield, but he is also a returner here in Calgary.
Roy Finch, off-season issues preventing him from being here, so it was a wide-open battle, and Dave Dickinson said he had 4 potential 1,000-yard rushers battling for the job. Over the middle, and that pass is incomplete, in and out of the hands of Jordan, and the punt team will come on for the first time.
You know, you go back to that game last year that we just showed you, that 60-1 beat down by Calgary over Hamilton, and not surprisingly, that's when the changes were made. I mean, June Jones is hired immediately. The change in the organization happens there in the coaching staff. He starts to put together his staff from that moment on, and made the quarterback change immediately from Zach Collaros, who we saw start his comeback last night, to Jeremiah Masoli.
9-year veteran Rob Maver with the boot. Frankie Williams is on the return and brings it back to the 34-yard line. There is Jeremiah Masoli getting set for his second series. Sarah Orleski with more on the Ticat starter when we come back. Terrific finish to the season for Jeremiah Masoli. The best numbers in the league from September 1st on, and with more on the Ticat starter, here's Sarah.
Yes, Chris, as you mentioned, 6-4 as a starter. He signed a 2-year deal in the offseason. Comes into this season, said he's always had the starter mentality. He's looking forward to the opportunity that's ahead of him right now. As for Johnny Manziel being his backup, obviously so much attention being paid to that signing and his addition to the roster. He said that he feels that the addition of Manziel is good for the city of Hamilton. It's good for the league as well. Now, as for Manziel, he's continuing to adjust to the Canadian game, to this league, and learning, but no surprise, he feels that it's going to be a good fit with his skill set. We'll see how these two continue to progress as this season goes on.
Ticat started their 34. Masoli into the flat. Luke Tasker has the catch and immediately brought to the turf. Patrick Levels on the tackle.
Well, there's never been a question about the athletic ability of Johnny Manziel, and we saw glimpses of that in the preseason when he got a chance to play. Pretty good numbers in the preseason, and he will be a story all year, and I agree with Sarah that it is good for the city, it's good for the league. There's lots of eyes on our game because of it. South of the border as well. That's good for recruiting in the future. All of those things, and you know what? It's good for Johnny Manziel. He's getting his life back on track, and that's a good thing.
2nd and 8, the hitch to Jones, trying to get to the edge, and he is brought down. Good defensive play by the former Ticat, Emmanuel Davis, fired up to play against his old mates.
You know that Johnny Manziel has got some very strict guidelines that he has to stick to. He had to meet with the commissioner and get that pass through Randy Ambrosie to get a chance to even sign with the Hamilton Tiger Cats, and he has to continue to meet those criteria.
Pressure on, punt blocked, Hiralahu taken down, and the Calgary Stampeders get to the football. It's Charlie Power, the 6-year man out of Saskatchewan, who got to Hiralahu. Straight up the middle, plays out. Hiralahu never even got a chance to kick it.
Charlie Power goes right down Main Street, but before you blame the long snapper Kevin Malcolm, you got to get some help from that guard right beside the center. Malcolm's got to concentrate on the snap. He can't let Power through there, but he needs help from the guard to make sure he steps down first, takes the inside gap, because that's the shortest route to blocking the kick right down Main Street.
First turnover goes to the Stampeders, a first down just inside the Hamilton 35. And an open target on the wide side of the field. And Jordan with another catch. You mentioned the fumble in the Grey Cup, which I'm sure he doesn't want to hear about. He also made a spectacular catch that set up what could have been potentially the game-tying points on that final drive.
Yeah, had a big game in the final to get to the Grey Cup. He had a touchdown in the Grey Cup, made a lot of plays last year. He's going to bounce back from that. It was a mistake. He's owned it. He's talked about it. Now he's going to let it go and let his play do the talking.
Second and short yardage, and the handoff inside. And there is Williams with the first down carry.
This offense looks sharp again in Calgary. And the only thing that's really stopped them in those first two drives were the accuracy and some deep throws. They could be up 14-0 right now and in field goal range again at the very least right now. But it is giving Hamilton some time to have this young defense settle in a little bit, especially young back end. Step up a little bit more, challenge a little bit more, play a little bit more aggressively. I'm sure that's what Glenville has said.
First down with Williams in the backfield. To the wide side of the field, another catch. Tavares Daniels has the catch. Jamal Roll in coverage for the Ticats.
One way you can do that defensively is get into some more press coverage. You see no defender in the picture. There's no defender all the way up here, almost 10-15 yards. But if you get up and play press, now you're playing Tavares Daniels in press coverage. And remember, he had 9 30-plus yarders last year, which led the Calgary Stampeders. So it's kind of pick your poison while these young corners kind of settle in.
So a measurement looks like it's going to be short, and the short yardage. Well, now they're going to say it is a first down. The short yardage team came in, and it was interesting because Nick Arbuckle was sent into the game. Dave Dickinson has talked this week about maybe just leaving Bo Levi Mitchell in short yardage. Bo's back in because it's first down. William Long lays in. Eric Rogers now in motion. Returning, number 15. Handoff inside. Terry Williams down to the 10. And a pickup of 3.
Look across this offensive line for Calgary. Cumbe Williams in the middle, and Derek Dennis, we talked about at left tackle. Dennis is the only guy that spent 1 year somewhere else. The rest of this O-line has only been in Calgary in the Canadian Football League. Spencer Wilson, 8 years in Calgary. Brad Erdos, he's got 5 years, all in Calgary. Shane Bergman, 6-year veteran, all in Calgary. They know each other well.
2nd and 7. Sedani comes into the game, and Nambo was blitzing. Back corner, incomplete. Intended for Rogers.
Well, there's some good coverage. Jamal Roll gets up there and again plays a little more aggressively. The Hamilton Tiger Cats coaching staff really like the athleticism of this young secondary, and they're going to live with some yards given up early on. That's part of it. When you have ours back there, when I say ours, I mean rookies, And these guys are pretty much pure rookies. Frankie Williams and Jamal Roll, but that was nice coverage on the fade route.
So the Stamps, who were last in 2017 in the red zone, 0 for 2 so far. Paredes, though, is 2 for 2. Stamps lead 6-0.
Make your getaway with intelligent all-wheel drive in the 2018 Nissan Qashqai.
Back at McMahon as the sky starts to clear a bit here on this Saturday evening.
Boy, this team has been good here, haven't they? It's back to, well, it was September of 2011 the last time Hamilton beat Calgary, but that was in Hamilton. It was even further back that they won a game here in Calgary.
2004.
Yeah, that's a long time ago. I mean, the home record for this football team in this stadium is remarkable. Dave Dickinson, his win-loss record second to none, and then before him it was GM John Hofnick.
13 wins or more in 7 of the last 10 years.
That's what the Hamilton Tiger Cats face tonight, but in this first quarter, hanging in there.
So on the return, Jackson Bennett brings it out just short of the 25-yard line. So Mazzoli, 4 for 4 and 28 yards.
One of the
late
aspects,
conference, with June Jones before he goes out.
Positive aspects of Jeremiah Mazzoli's game is his ability to run. He rushed for more yards in his 10 starts than any quarterback in the league, just ahead of Mike Riley in Edmonton. So running the ball and stretching the edges with his legs, very important in his game.
Watch Derek Taylor's details on that element of his game. 37 designed runs. Next best among quarterbacks, Riley with 14. Got to run for his life here. Brandon Smith will bring him down as Devon Claybrooks dials up some pressure.
Yeah, and I think that's the difference, though, Chris. I mean, that was running for his life because the pocket collapsed in a drop-back situation, a pocket throwing situation. He uses running as a weapon. You know, when he...
Holding. Hamilton, number 57. Penalties decline. Second down.
Left guard Brandon Revenberg called. And Brandon Smith, the 11-year veteran, the last man standing from the 2008 Calgary Stampeders with the side.
Derek Wigan got the assist.
Zoli going to air this out. Got Mike Jones. Got him. Jones in behind coverage. Down the sidelines and dropped at the 13-yard line.
How about the touch on that throw? Mike Jones, yeah.
The rookie corner, Trey Roberson.
Mike Jones in stride. I mean, that dropped right in his hands. Nice teardrop down the rail from Jeremiah Mazzoli. He's got a step, but didn't have to break stride to pull that one in. Tremendous touch from Jeremiah Mazzoli, and a 76-yarder to flip the field.
Mike Jones trying to bounce back after a tough 2017, a 76-yard play. And a first down in the red zone. The fake to Whitlock the other way. He'll walk in. Jeremiah Mazzoli, touchdown.
That's the element. That's the difference. Jeremiah Mazzoli running as a weapon. Not running for his life when the pocket collapses. He can do that, and he can escape. But I'm talking about in the offense, running it as a weapon. He fakes it to Nikita Whitlock. The zone read play. Around the edge he goes. And that's when it can break down a defense in a hurry.
Like he got a huge block from the right tackle, Riker Matthews. 4 touchdowns last year. Mazzoli into the end zone for the first major. Final minute, first quarter, and Hyralahu sneaks in that convert. 13-yard touchdown run.
I'll tell you what, Trey Robertson, the rookie corner for Calgary, speed on the deep ball from Mike Jones. Also took the wrong angle on the run on the touchdown. Here he is on the outside. Now his job is to stay contained. You got to stay up and stay contained right here. And if he doesn't, he's in trouble letting Jeremiah Mazzoli around the edge. Watch, he took the inside leverage on that play fake, and now Jeremiah is out and around the corner.
Tommy Campbell in Montreal. Ciante Evans is injured, and the rookie Trey Robertson.
If you're going to go inside, you better get there. The other thing it does, if you cut inside of a block like Trey Robertson did there, you're cutting off the pursuit angles of your linebackers, and Jameer Thurman couldn't get around him. What a throw, though, from Jeremiah Mazzoli.
All set up by the 76-yard play, and here's Terry Williams. And he gets wrestled down by Whitlock, who could play special teams defense and offense. And that's the final play of the opening quarter. And with that touchdown run by Jeremiah Mazzoli, it's the Ticats with the lead. So the Stampeders had their chances, had the lead, but Mazzoli with a 76-yard pass to Jones and that 13-yard run to Pater. Some missed opportunities for Calgary, and the Ticats make the most of that final minute and have the lead after the first quarter.
Yeah, that final minute, 76 of those passing yards on that one play to Mike Jones, but it was a great throw from Jeremiah Mazzoli, and they take the lead in the second quarter. What a weird first quarter. I thought those first two drives, Calgary stopped themselves because Bo was just off on a couple of deep throws that probably end up as touchdowns.
Not a defensive gem.
No. Well, changes in both defenses. I mean, no Charleston Hughes for the Calgary Stampeders. We saw him get off to a good start for the Saskatchewan Roughriders last night, but Tommy Campbell not in the secondary for Calgary. Neither is the Ciante Evans for this game. So some young DBs are trying to settle in a little bit.
You were there once, weren't you?
Oh, yeah.
Snaps back to work. Mitchell had some time over the middle and sailed that high, incomplete. Intended for Jordan. I'd like to welcome viewers on TSN 3 and 5 who are watching the U.S. Open. Just starting the second quarter. Ticats have taken the lead on a late first quarter touchdown by Jeremiah Mazzoli. Old Levi Mitchell started the day 4 of 5, but now has hit on just 3 of his last 9. Down the rail here and overthrows Tavares Daniels, who was working against Jamal Roll.
Well, I like the position of Roll. I was a little surprised that Mitchell made that choice. I mean, Tavares Daniels can win that jump ball, so he can trust his receiver. I get that, but he tries to look off the safety, hold any deep help to the wide side of the field. But again, Roll, that's back-to-back deep balls, one in the end zone, that he's been in good coverage after giving up some yards in the first quarter.
Frankie Williams awaits. Neighbor with a typical good boot, 57 yards. Here's Williams trying to get outside. And now a flag comes down as he is able to turn the corner and down the sidelines. He will not be caught. Frankie Williams, but again a flag back at the Ticat 30-yard line.
The Hamilton offense is heading back into their own end of the field. And you know what that means.
During the return, illegal block. Hamilton, number 19. 10-yard penalty, first down.
John Green, rookie out of UConn, is flagged on the play.
Yeah, John Green Again, another young guy. If he is going to do this, just take a look. You see the name tag. Do not even touch him, especially with the quality returners. Let them make a couple of guys miss. That was square in the back. It was a penalty and a great return. Coming back.
Frank Gans Jr. now taking over the special teams. A little tap on the pads for Green. Craig Butler, the former Ticats safety, will be assisting in the special teams. But the ball comes all the way back to the Hamilton 21. Mercer Timmis in the backfield of the former Calgary Dino star as his first carry of the season. Reminder that our CFL season kickoff continues after this game. Alouettes head-to-head with the BC Lions. Action gets underway at 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific across the TSN network. Big day for Mercer Timmis, who we expect to see get a fair number of reps at running back. 2,987 rushing yards at the University of Calgary. Flag comes down, and this play doesn't get off.
Looked like Nikita Whitlock, who was at the tailback spot in this series, in this set, jumped at the line of scrimmage.
Offside, Hamilton, number 16, 5-yard penalty, remains second down.
They're calling Brandon Banks, but I thought Whitlock had jumped across into the neutral zone. Either way, make a second and long situation for Mazzoli.
Speedy B, who finished with a 115-yard receiving game against Calgary last year. Last 10 games, 959 receiving yards for Brandon Banks. Gets the ball again, but it is well covered that time. And there's the rookie Roberson stepping up to make the defensive play.
Trying to get Speedy B or Brandon Banks into some space so he can make some people miss, but they close quickly.
So Hairolahu to punt. Terry Williams is back. And a punt return touchdown in the preseason. This one bouncing around at midfield. And there'll be a no yards as it's fielded by Williams near the 55. And great field position for Calgary when we come back. Well, back-to-back heartbreaking losses. Ernest Jackson in overtime in 2016. The shocking win by Henry Burris and company, and then chance to redeem themselves in the interception by Matt Black that clinched an Argo unexpected victory last season. How do the Stampeders bounce back from a couple of heartbreaks? Don Jackson cut down. Good, strong defensive play by Simone Lawrence.
Well, Dave Dickinson basically has to put it to bed and move forward. That's what he has to do.
Both Dickinson and Bo Levi Mitchell, I'm sure a lot of soul searching about the way those two games played out late. Second and long, trouble, and down goes Mitchell as he is dropped. Julian Hauser with his first Canadian Football League sack.
Yeah, came around from the backside. And he's working on veteran Derek Dennis. A couple of years back, Dennis, outstanding season. But he just uses his speed, he drops that out inside shoulder, so Derek Dennis really doesn't have any target to block or hit, and he catches Bo Levi Mitchell from behind.
That ball came loose, as you saw, picked up by Spencer Wilson. Chamber, a line drive down at the 5, 51-yard punt. And Frankie Williams brings it back to the 15. So the Ticats back on offense. They've got a 1-point lead on a 13-yard run by their quarterback, Jeremiah Masoli. Sent on youth in the Stampeder camp, and one of the guys that made the most noise was Trey Roberson. And what a pedigree. When Grandpa's in the Hall of Fame, the late Larry Highbaugh, you know genetically he's ready to play.
If Trey Roberson has half the speed that Larry Highbaugh had and could cover like Larry Highbaugh, he's a player. Former quarterback. Started his college career at Indiana. I mean, back in high school, dual sport athlete who was called in Indiana Mr. Football. So we have Johnny Football and Mr. Football here at McMahon Stadium.
We had a former quarterback make a pretty good throw, almost an interception for Patrick Levels. I was going to say we had a rookie corner, former quarterback last night, Nick Marshall, with a pick six in Saskatchewan.
Don't be surprised to see Trey Roberson come back. His counterpart, the wide side of the field, Patrick Levels, had a shot here at corner. Played that ball nicely. Didn't high point it though. When he jumped up, he let it get down to his waist rather than get his hands up over his head and rip it out of the air.
Ticat fans are saying, isn't that pass interference though? Can he go through the receiver to get to the ball?
I think he went up and around to play the football. He's allowed at it as well.
2nd and 10. Masoli a shovel. And it gets there to Tasker, and a first down up near the 30. Brought down by Singleton, and Tasker in some difficulty. It looks like he's okay and bouncing back up.
What a savvy move there by Tasker. First of all, it's just sort of make it up as you go along for Jeremiah Masoli here. He steps up in the pocket and then just spots out of the corner of his eye Tasker, so it's a little underhand flip. But watch him freeze Singleton right there with a little stutter step move. If not, he probably doesn't get the first down territory.
That's Masoli playing that point guard role. Tasker, the number 2 targeted receiver in the CFL a year ago. Mercer tips off the right side, and a good run by the former Dino. Up to the 37-yard line.
Oh, outstanding job of draft picks. Mercer Timmis, when you take back a look at that 2016 draft for the Hamilton Tiger Cats, 2nd round pick was Mercer Timmis. Brandon Revenberg was a third round pick in that same draft. And then you go to Mike Jones, and he was a 3rd round pick for Hamilton in 2016.
Timmis 3 times an all-CIS star. There's an open man. Brandon Banks has got it. First down at the 51-yard line. Tagged down by his old teammate, Emmanuel Davis.
Let's take a look at the route running ability and recognizing the zone defense. Sometimes you don't have to run full speed every play. Just make sure you recognize what's in front of you. And that's what Brandon Banks did. Saw it was a zone. Calgary secondary had dropped off, and he found the hole.
Just one incompletion for Jeremiah Masoli. 8 of 9. 129 in the game. Out of a hole and with a first down at the 51. Back in the hands of Timmis. And stepping up is Singleton to make that stop.
You know, I've said this a couple of times on radio leading up to the season that I think out of all the starting quarterbacks in the league, there's more pressure on this one in Jeremiah Masoli than any quarterback playing because of who's behind him and all the news and the reporting. And, you know, everyone, including us, were tracking practice reps for Johnny Manziel, and justifiably so. It's a big name, and that's what's going to happen. He's got pressure on him, and he's not even letting it affect him.
He's got the right personality, doesn't he? Here's Tasker, another first down kick.
Well, yeah.
Masoli is probably the most unflappable of all the quarterbacks. I mean, this guy, his pulse does not beat at the same rate.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, he's 10 of 11. I mean, the guy is locked in. He's played on the big stage. He's played for June Jones. I mean, he knows how to handle this, but the pressure that's on him to win and to make it happen with number 2 behind him, I think is more than any quarterback in the league.
Another first down into Calgary territory, and there's another completion. Good stretch out by Mike Jones to make the catch. And Masoli looking forward to this season and not looking over his shoulder.
It felt good. I've always prepared and had that mentality as a starter. Obviously was a starter before I came up here, so I just always had that kind of mentality to be that guy. But it definitely feels good to have everybody's, approval to be the guy. And, we're looking forward to an exciting season.
Good example of that personality we're talking about.
Oh, just, low key and just let it just roll right off your back and go out and be Jeremiah Masoli. Don't try and be anybody else. And that's what he's doing right now. And for the record, by all accounts, Johnny Manziel has been nothing but a great teammate. And they're working together. And June Jones and Johnny Manziel are trying to work on that steep learning curve that he has just to learn the game and the nuances and the new country and new city and all of it. And that's a work in progress. In the meantime, they've got a guy out there in Jeremiah Masoli who earned the right from last year. And I think that's why so many people, including yours truly, is cheering for number 8 to play well, and he's playing well in this one.
And not the first time he's played ahead of a Heisman Trophy winner in the United Football League. He had Eric Crouch play behind him.
The Heisman Trophy can open a door or two for sure, and it's a tremendous honor and an honor that is earned, but it doesn't entitle you to anything at the next level. We've seen that with some of the Heisman Trophy winners that have tried to play in the CFL. One, Doug Flutie, did pretty well.
He was okay. Andre Ware did not enjoy the same success.
Exactly.
Or Eric Crouch. 3rd and inches here. Ball at the Stampeder 38. Ticats trying to extend what's been a good-looking drive. Timison behind the quarterback. And Masoli off the right side. He's got a lot more than he needed, and he'll step out untouched. There is a flag down on the play. And it looks like it's going against Hamilton.
Was it Landon Rice who hogtied somebody and threw him to the ground right at the point of attack off the edge? Didn't see the number he was engaged with, but
Rice beaten out at least on opening day by Darius Scirocco to start at right guard. You'll see him at tight end in certain formations.
Thing is, he didn't have to do it, Chris. I mean, he was blocking the edge
Holding
player.
Hamilton, number 69, 10-yard penalty, remains 3rd down.
That'll take a look at this because this is a big penalty. I mean, this was a new set of downs right to the right side here. Now, if he doesn't hold on the contained man here, Masoli hits it right up the middle, right up in this lane. But because he's holding the outside shoulder pads, that's clear holding and easy for the official to see. It's a tough one to take for Landon Rice.
Negates a first down, takes them back 10, takes them out of field goal range. So Hairolahu to sail this, looking for the corner, and he hit it beautifully. That one, where are they going to rule that? It looked like it was inside the one, but now they're going to call it a rouge. So 1 point on the long single into the corner. .53-yard single. Let's go back to Sarah Orleski.
Well, Chris, you and Glenn had mentioned that Bo Levi Mitchell last season was dealing with injuries, a variety of them. He had a small tear in his knee, lead to what he described as feeling like he had concrete feet. He only rushed for 17 yards in the 2017 season. He also, though, said that it was week 5 where everything changed in the season. He wasn't able to do the things he wanted to do. He sprained a ligament in his elbow. He also had shoulder issues, and he had to change the mechanics of his throw. He was obviously able to play through it, though he still has some pain pain that he's dealing with from it, but he's good to go and ready to take advantage of a receiving core that he feels is one of the best that he has seen. A lot of big playmaking abilities that he wants to make sure he's able to capitalize on.
Had a baseball-like, a pitcher-like rehab regimen in the offseason. Ricky Ray had that a couple of years ago as well, and working his way back off, as Sarah mentioned, a shoulder issue that they decided did not require surgery.
Yeah, you can tell he's got the zip. He's got every throw in the book again. He's got that deep ball. He's got the touch. Probably has to calibrate a little bit. I mean, that first quarter, his accuracy was a little bit off. But again, when you're back and healthy, you're not compensating for the injury any longer in live action. You got to calibrate again and get back on target.
First down, pressure is on. And he shows his escapability there, but up for grabs. What a catch by Jawan Briskeson. Come on.
There you go. Get him up out of their seat.
Yeah, that did it. And why not? This looked like it might be intercepted by Richard Leonard.
Oh. Nice. Look at that, baby.
Well, it's early, but we have a catch of the year candidate. 42-yard connection. That pass into the flat, and Markin Michel has the grab. That's worth one more look, isn't it?
I tell you what, that is standing straight up and stopping the football with the one hand. He's not fading with the ball, catching it with one hand. We see a lot of those now. That's just standing straight up, jump ball, Briskeson, one hand, ripping it out of the sky.
Had a breakthrough year last year, according to his coach, and Dave Dickinson said he'd like to get him more involved. One of the reasons that Anthony Parker no longer here, pressure on, and Mitchell is picked off. That pass intercepted by Cariel Brooks as the pressure on the quarterback creates the turnover. So a big takeaway for Jerry Glanville's young Hamilton defense. Lawrence with the pressure and a Willie Mays interception by Cariel Brooks.
Getting used to the studio again. Coming up, we're going to talk about the progression of Jeremiah Mazzoli, which really goes back to last year. And also, well, we've heard this before, the Stampeders, good start, but should have more to show for it. Might talk about that catch as well as we go back to CC and Suits.
Yeah, that'll be worth another look.
Oh, man. But all for naught. This young secondary is starting to settle in a little bit. Brooks with a nice interception on an ill-advised decision from Bo Levi Mitchell.
Big takeaway. Calgary 0 for 3 in the red zone. And Luke Tasker with a catch in traffic. Sandwiched out at the 31-yard line, but a big catch to get him out of the hole.
That takes courage. I don't care what level you're at. You know you're going to get hit in there. And Luke Tasker braces himself, but he gets sandwiched. There's 3 defenders right there. Let's take a look at the pick again from Brooks, and the pressure causes the problems. That's Simone Lawrence with the pressure. Accuracy off on the throw to Jackson, and Cariel Brooks. Again, there's just about 30 games of experience in the entire secondary for Hamilton. They were giving up some yards in the first couple of drives, but they've settled in nicely, starting to make some plays. Even the catch by Briskeson was good coverage.
Please reset the clock to 2:36, 2:36. 10 seconds,
Not a clock issue that is being taken care of. Tasker with his 4th catch of the first half. He's at 50 yards. And Mazzoli, 11 of 12 for 172 here in the first half. First down at the Ticat 31. Mazzoli pumped one way, now scrambling the other, and heaving it downfield, and incomplete. Simone Lawrence with the catch.
Simone Lawrence, he said you just getting the warning, like, make sure you're back of that white line. In fact, if you're on the bench, you should be by that yellow line, not on the stripe, because Jalen Saunders, they're both tracking it. and Saunders may have been able to keep a foot in. He said, well, I don't know. I'm sorry. You're not at the outfield wall trying to reach over and catch that fly ball.
Tasker underneath the manual.
That's a first. I think that's a first. Have you ever?
I mean, even Shinetti didn't do that.
No, well, no, Shinetti dropped it. But I honestly, I don't think in all the years we've been covering the game, have I seen a teammate kind of watching right there on the white stripe going, oh, you might have been able to make the catch. Masoli going, leave it. Wow.
Williams awaits. Pressure on Hairolahu. Gets away a short kick and fielded on the run, and he ran into a wall after a 32-yard punt. And the long snapper Malcolm down in a hurry. Well, the 2018 FIFA World Cup continues tomorrow. 3 group stage matches. Costa Rica takes on Serbia. Germany up against Mexico. Brazil battles Switzerland. Coverage begins at 7 Eastern, 4 a.m. Pacific across the TSN network and on CTV.
Couple of pops and physical play as he runs into his own teammate Adam Berger.
Good field position. Under 2 minutes to go. And Mitchell wide open. There's Jordan. And Kamar Jordan wrestled down by Danya Namba. But a big play for the Stampeders, and they're close to the red zone once again.
Simone Lawrence showed blitz here, and then he dropped out, and he tried to run with this route for about 20 yards and then dropped it. Let it go, thinking there was a deep defender over the top, and there wasn't.
Mitchell up over 200 yards in this first half. So 0 for 3 in the red zone as they start with the football just nudging the Ticat 20-yard line. William Longley in the backfield. Mitchell protection, and Daniels a drop.
Well, I'll tell you what, that was great protection. I think it was running back Don Jackson had stepped up and took the blitz. He's going to go right here and take the edge blitz here, and he gave his quarterback time and did his job. Watch this step up and take Simone Lawrence. Great contact right here, giving Bo Levi Mitchell an extra second, and then just the drop over the middle.
Daniels with the 11 catches in the Grey Cup. 2nd and 10. This one underneath again, and a quick tackle made by Larry Dean as he brings down Brescison.
120 defensive plays for Larry Dean, which was 6th in the CFL in the top 10, and
that puts you in the top 50 on the CFL top 50 list of players.
Well, he's a building block. He's a foundation guy. Middle of your defense, leader, 96 tackles, run stopper extraordinaire, but can still drop under receivers in the passing game. All-star middle linebacker. 2 in this game, Singleton and Larry Dean.
Phil Paredes puts it through. Calgary regains the lead. 9-8 here in the final minute, first half. But the Stampeders 0 for 4 in the red zone in this opening half of play. Well, we've talked about the back-to-back heartbreaking Grey Cup losses, and we talked to Bo Levi Mitchell about those disappointments.
I'm a realist when it comes to it. You know, I don't want it to seem like I'm sloughing anything off about the game, but the realism about everything is, you know, we're 2 or 3 plays away from being 3-0 in the Grey Cup. And we're 1 play away from being 0-3 in the Grey Cup, you know, without the flag happening on the kickoff return. So that's the blunt, honest, you know, opinion about it.
That's true. And that was a game back against the Hamilton Tiger Cats. And Brandon Banks kick return for a touchdown that had an illegal block on it, or they're 0 for 3 and a couple of plays in the green zone. in the last 2 Grey Cups, and they're 3-0, and that's how close it is. Dave Dickinson and Bo Levi Mitchell both have to sort of address it. They know it's going to be a scar that they're going to have to live with. But the concern is not getting over. The concern is looking too far ahead to the Grey Cup this year without putting in the work and the steps that it's going to take.
Here's Sean Thomas Earlington on the return, and he got away. Nice hurdle and gets up to the 35-yard line. Thomas Earlington out of Montreal won a Vanier Cup with Danny Machocha a few years back. Had a good camp as he is converted to a slot back position. Looks like he was shaken up on that last play.
I like their Canadian content. Take a look at this Hamilton team. They've got some nice Canadian content, some good backup linemen that are projected starters sooner rather than later. Revenberg settling in. We talked about Sirocco at right guard.
See how Masoli handles his final minute. Oh, we're going to find out in a hurry. He's stretching it out, and incomplete. Mike Jones looked like he had a step as they work against Patrick Levels.
Tried to get it up over Adeleke, too, who's his 4th start. Starts out at the wideout and hits that shallow post or post seam route. And he's trying to get in behind Adeleke, the safety. I thought they might try and test Tunde Adeleke and see how he holds up at that free safety spot. See if Jeremiah Mazzoli can move him with his eyes.
Jones 3 catches, 86 yards already. 2nd and 10, a lot of steamboats. And a great catch. Jalen Saunders brings it down at the Stampeder 49.
Boy, tremendous protection up front so that Jeremiah Mazzoli can retreat here. First look off, retreat, and then put a touch pass to the spot where only Jalen Saunders can go get it.
26 yards, we've had 8 receiving plays of over 20 yards in the game so far, and there's Adeleke, the young safety bringing down Mazzoli. Had 1 sack last year and now takes the spot of the veteran Josh Bell full-time. Bell now his coach in that defensive secondary.
Hamilton.
Yeah, you won't see him initially in this shot, but he comes from the right side of your screen. He's coming out of the middle. I see Mazzoli sees that there's no one in the middle, so he pulls it, thinking that Adeleke has gone so far down inside that he can't redirect, but Adeleke has the foot speed to do it. 3rd round pick last year.
If not, Mazzoli might be still running. But a big play by the 2nd-year man out of Carleton. The timeout called, 16 seconds remaining.
Back-to-back big plays. He was in decent position on the deep ball to Mike Jones. Made it so Jones couldn't bend into the middle to go get that ball. Had to go through Adeleke to get it, and then a tackle for a loss on Mazzoli.
2nd and 13. See if the Ticats can get it into Iralahu range. And that pass is caught by Tasker. Good second effort. Down to just inside the 40. That should give Iralahu a shot. They've got time for one more play.
Yeah. Do they squeeze one more out? Try and squeeze one more play in here before you get to field goal time, or
figure out if it's a first down. If it's 3rd and inches, they might just send the field goal team on. But if it's a first down, they may have time for one more play.
3rd and inches.
I mean, you could throw off 3rd and inches, but if you miss, you're
done.
You don't get the field goal opportunity, and they're I think making the right call here.
Absolutely. Kick the field goal here.
Flags are just about still. Iralahu, 47 of 58 last year. 50 was his longest.
Yeah, man.
Sometimes it just gets too loud at the stadium. And the guy who kicked the winning field goal in the Grey Cup against Calgary last year has a chance here to put the Tiger Cats in the lead at halftime. from 46, and the flags fly.
Who drew who? This is the question that not only the on-field officials will sort out, but they can get help in real time from the video official back in the command center. Make sure they get the right call here, either offside or procedure.
Got a holding call on that third down gamble earlier in the half, and are the Ticats going to be penalized and take them out of field goal range? Let's see.
Defensive procedure, calling out cadence. Calgary, number 49. 5-yard penalty. This will become first down.
Singleton called. Mark Killam, the special teams coordinator, and Dave Dickinson,
and I'm
with an incredulous reaction.
And I'm searching through the rule book because I'm sure it's in there, and Dave Dickinson getting an explanation that well, you know that you can't, whether you're a defensive tackle or a linebacker, you can't try and deliberately draw a procedure call by screaming out or barking out offensive signals.
We have seen that before. Singleton says, I didn't do anything.
But he can
signal to his own team.
Exactly,
though.
And that's probably what he's arguing, is that I was calling signals to the guys up front, not calling their signals, but either way, it shortens his kick for Hairolahu.
Moves it in 5 from around the 41. And Hairolahu puts it up and through. And the Tiger Cats will have the lead at the half. Interesting first half. An aerial assault, but yet just 20 points on the board. 11-9. Hamilton. Here's Rod Smith.
Thank you, CC. We can say this much. This is a far cry from 60-1 1 year ago. Ticats in this thing.
By Jawan Breskison, who is standing by with Sarah Orleski.
Juwan, I think you should prepare for a lot of text messages when you look at your phone after the game. How would you describe that one-handed catch?
Just ran a corner route and I saw both scrambling. We work that all the time in practice, so he threw it up and I just tried to make a play.
With that being said, do you practice the one-handed catch?
No, I just do what comes naturally. So it was one hand, but they teach us to get two on it. But I ended up catching it with one, so I'll take it.
Fair enough. Thanks.
Thank you.
Another day at the office.
42-yard play. Suits, we had more passing offense in the first half than in the entire game we did last night between Saskatchewan and Toronto.
Yeah, both quarterbacks on pace for over 400. I guess not surprising in some ways with some youngsters in the back end for both teams.
Ticats lead despite an average field position start at the 24-yard line in the first half. Jackson Bennett brings that out beyond the 35, and here comes Jeremiah Mazzoli, who was tremendous in that first half, a 13-yard touchdown run, and 14 of 17 through the air.
Yeah, his accuracy on this deep ball was outstanding to Mike Jones, but he started to use all the weapons, spread the ball around a little bit. Accuracy outstanding in the first half, and got his legs involved. His touchdown on this run right here is an important part of the arsenal for Jeremiah Mazzoli.
82% completions in the first half. Timmis off the left tackle and up to the 43 with a flag down on the play. Dave Dickinson, in assessing Mazzoli yesterday, mentioned that he can be streaky. We have seen that.
Well, this is start number 20 for Jeremiah Mazzoli. I mean, playing at this level, remarkable. 10-9 overall, but
offside, Calgary, number 4, 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
But when he really got the confidence of his coach, and that was June Jones, after the 60-1 game here in Calgary, when June Jones was hired and the quarterback change was made, Jeremiah Mazzoli got the keys to the car. And there were games that Mazzoli was putting up some big numbers last year.
Micah Johnson called for offside, so 1st and 5. again inside to Timmis to the 45, 4 yards, and it'll be 2nd and 1.
Another University of Calgary grad, and a guy who's pounding it in there, playing that position physically. Did a nice job in the preseason as well, Mercer Timmis.
6'2", 220, 43 touchdowns as a back with the Dinos. Getting a chance here with Alex Green hurt, a hand injury. John White, a late add to the team, but not quite ready to go yet. Green might be available next week in Edmonton. And Mazzoli sneaks for the first down, but the ball popped loose. And a real scramble for it here. Whistle sound. Calgary thinks they've got it. They're still battling for it down there.
And they just signaled
it is Calgary football. And Adeleke was the guy who wrestled it out.
Delake's making some plays. He's right here. Comes over the pile. Good discipline from the Calgary D-line. Did not go offside. I didn't hear a whistle. Turns Mazzoli around, and he's lost the handle. Mazzoli was out before. The ball was out of his hands before, I think even Adeleke got there.
So the second-year safety out of Carlton, who we watched have a terrific series late in the first half, comes up with a takeaway early in the second half.
Big shoes to fill when you have to step in there for Josh Bell. Bit of a free safety as Bell was, but it does help Dave Dickinson with the Canadian ratio.
All turnovers are reviewed. That review has been given the okay. The turnover goes to Calgary, and they have the ball at the Ticat 44. Mitchell scrambling, throwing on the run, and it's caught. Long way along the sidelines. They really didn't get a foot down.
Boy, that was tremendous accuracy. That's a deliberate back shoulder throw to Longley down the sideline, and Bo puts it right where he wants it. Now, does he get 1 foot in bounds? He's in the air, first foot down. No, on the white stripe. Good call by the official right on the spot.
Working against Don Anamba. So 2nd and 10. Mitchell at 52% so far. 4-man rush. Mitchell has to step away, and a nice defensive play there by Larry Dean, the middle linebacker.
Boy, Dean gambles here. Larry Dean gambles, and he's right here to start the play, but he's going to drop underneath in coverage, and then when Bo somehow escapes this pressure and tosses it over the middle, if that play's not made there and Terry Williams gets his hands on it, he's got 20 yards of daylight in front of him.
3rd 2 and out for the Stampeders. It comes after the takeaway.
Card.
And so Beaver looks for the corner. Led the league in that department last year. It'll be brought back by Frankie Williams out to around the 15-yard line. Jeremiah Mazzoli back to work. The 2-point lead when we come back.
Used to be.
Well, there's Jerry Glanville. We mentioned the new defensive coordinator of the Ticats, reunited with June Jones. These guys go way back. It's June Jones in the middle, Jerry Glanville, and Nick Saban, head coach of the Alabama Crimson Tide, who was the DB coach with those two guys way back when. What's old is new again in Hamilton.
Replay.
Mazzoli, Saunders, sidesteps one and is up to the 38-yard line, brought down by Emmanuel Davis.
Micah Johnson was offside. Jeremiah Mazzoli knew he had a free one, but that shows you a little bit of the Mazzoli
offside. Calgary, number 4. The penalty declined. Play results, first down.
Take a look at the arm strength of Jeremiah Mazzoli. That's a wide side out. And he threw this one with a flick of the wrist and almost a sidearm there and got it right out there to Julian Saunders.
June Jones talked about Masoli getting better as the year went on last season. Looks like that momentum has carried over. Now to the far side for Banks. Does he bring it down? Incomplete against Levels.
Take a look at this Calgary defense. They've got some holes to fill too. I mentioned Charleston Hughes, Ciante Evans not available, Tommy Campbell, Shaq Richardson. Playmakers said, you know, if you take their numbers from last year off their totals, they drop from sort of first and second in the league, Devon Claybrook's guys, to sort of the bottom of the league with those numbers out of the lineup. And Jagarrett Davis not available here tonight either.
2nd and 10. Maybe another offside.
Yep.
They shovel it back to Whitlock into traffic. Not going very far, but looked like Calgary was ahead of the snap. Third offside and about...
Offside. Calgary number 49. 5-yard penalty. Remains 2nd down.
In about 3 minutes for the Stampeders. Alex Singleton this time called.
Well, this is a great defense last year. The Calgary Stampeders tied for first in the league in sacks. They were 2nd in the league in interceptions, first in points allowed, just 16.7 per game. You got to remember that Jagarrett Davis not in the lineup tonight, had 9 sacks. Charleston Hughes had 11 last year. Take those out of the lineup and not as much production there.
Number 1 red zone defense. Masoli under pressure, and he gets it to Saunders. Bounced out at the Hamilton bench by Levels, but it's another big Ticat first down.
You know, this is such an impressive display of throwing that wide side out for Jeremiah Masoli. This is a couple times in a row now. I mean, not only because of the accuracy of the throw, but because when you're throwing this wide side out and the timing's not just perfect, it's going the other way. It's just too far a throw with a 65-yard wide field. But he's dropping it over the first defender and in front of the second. Tremendous accuracy on a very dangerous throw. He's throwing it with confidence.
Onto the Stamp side of the field. The hitch to Jones. Trying to get a block from Tasker, but that play halted by Emmanuel Davis.
But a drive that got Hamilton to flip the field. Those are important drives, even if you don't come away with points. On the road, a small lead, you could chalk this up as long as they don't turn it over to a successful drive because of a couple of wide throws from Masoli already.
And he has had to dig himself out of bad field position a few times in this game. Up to 261 passing yards on the evening. 2nd and 9. Quarterback option. Back with a slick move. And ran out of time as Jamar Wall stepped up. Micah Johnson was there, but Masoli showed you some elusiveness before the play came to an end.
A little spin move there. I think I've seen this one from Masoli before. Not this side. That's the play side. Watch him go back the opposite way. And then a little spin move right there on Vauders. Jamar Wall tracked him down. Jamar Wall coming from halfback up into the linebacking core this year.
Ira Lahu's punt. Terry Williams. He'll field that. Momentum takes him into the end zone. There's a mistake.
Yep.
And Calgary will have to scrimmage from their 5-yard line. So Williams could have let it go into the end zone. His momentum took him there. He brings it back out to the 5.
Thursday Night Football, presented by TELUS, June 28th at 7 p.m., featuring James Barker Band at halftime. Get your tickets today at Stampeders.com.
Concert series, Thursday nights, love it.
It's like the fans getting ready for a little rain to blow in. Successful drive for Hampton, started on their 14, finishes by pinning Calgary at their 5, but there's a key run to get them out of some difficulty. 12-yard carry for Terry Williams.
Well, and Terry Williams, I'm sure, wanted the ball immediately because of the mistake he made mentally on catching that punt, not letting it go into the end zone. This part of the game, you don't want to give up that kind of real estate and have your offense start in a hole like this, but he makes amends on first down.
Nice block by William Longley on Big Ted Laurent. 12-yard gain, doubles the rushing total, so they'll do it again. Gets to the second level and another first down run for Terry Williams.
Oh yeah, he's got the knees up now. He's hitting that hole, and he's now where the ball would be had he let it go in the end zone. A couple of good runs and blocks up front.
Back-to-back 12-yard runs for Terry Williams, sharing the duties with Don Jackson.
See that block by Ucomber Williams. A linebacking core.
A little breathing room now for the Stamps. Mitchell on a roll, and he will take off. And a little shifting of gears for another first down run. Longer than any run he had a year ago.
Yeah, and he does look lighter on his feet. He looks like he's increased his foot speed, his quickness. He's always been able to negotiate the pocket, buy a little time, slide to his left, slide to his right, retreat a little bit depending on what's in front of him, but showed some pretty good speed out there.
Little bounce in his step. It's the third straight 12-yard run of the drive. And again, Mitchell, 3 carries, 17 yards all of last season. He'll stay on the ground, and this time it doesn't work. Adrian Tracy, who finished 2017 in style with a big defensive play.
Yeah, sometimes you just play the play. You know, no matter what your assignment might be, and veteran players especially can do this more than rookies would, but sometimes you just see it, you play it. Don't worry if you had an inside stone or whatever. Just go play the play and make the tackle. I mean, at the end of the day, defense, just get to the football.
8 sacks in his last 7 games last season for Tracy. A 7-yard loss on the play. 2nd and 17. 4-man rush. And somebody wasn't on the same page as the quarterback that time.
Yeah, Bagleton, he stopped up thinking that it was a zone and he was going to go to this first window, and Bo Levi Mitchell thought he was going to go right up to the sideline. That's where the void was. Bagleton's going to come down here, and he stops here rather than finishing and going to the out. Well, Levi Mitchell decides to throw the out. See him stop it up. You want him to go straight out.
Haven't seen Brandon Banks on returns. Frankie Williams has handled that. Neighbors punt settles at the 33, a 43-yard punt. Not much on the return. As good downfield coverage by Ante Milanovic-Leiter. Ninja Warrior brought to you in part by SportsCenter with feats of strength, speed, and agility, and more jumps, flips, and mind-blowing stunts than ever. No other show will get your pulse pounding like American Ninja Warrior. Monday on CTV.
You know, you mentioned Brandon Banks not on returns. Just before, as they're starting to sort this out, Bo Levi Mitchell back to that play where he missed Bagleton and he was working with Bagleton. It's early in the season. These teams, even the good ones from last year, are working on getting the kinks out. But you mentioned Brandon Banks, and Banks, you almost feel like part of the playbook will be opened up for him pretty soon here. It's kind of like he's been quiet. They're resting him a little bit, but I think you start to get the feeling that it's about that time that they take a shot to Speedy B.
3 catches for Banks. Tasker has 6. Jones and Saunders with 4 apiece. Passing situation here, you'd expect on 2nd and 8. Extra man coming. Pressure on. Whitlock's got it. And he gets cut down at the 40-yard line. Tackle made by the 11-year veteran, Brandon Smith.
Yeah, he's the senior in the group. When you look at that back end, most experience. Guy goes back to their Grey Cup win, 11th season, and a little self-preservation there with a big guy like Nikita Whitlock go down low, cut his legs out from underneath.
Rain starts to fall here. And there's a problem for Williams, who gets back on it. That was a bit of an adventure. And Jackson Bennett was in the vicinity, but the pigskin a little greasy with the rain starting to fall. And Williams had to scramble to make sure it stayed in Calgary's hands. Orlando Steinauer back in the league, terrific player, and a guy who has been a good coach in this league, back as the assistant head coach with more. Here's Sarah.
Well, Chris, you think about it, for several seasons when you talk about potential CFL head coaches, often we would hear Orlando's name come up. He went down last year down to Fresno State and was defensive coordinator down there and was part of a coaching staff that helped orchestrate a huge turnaround for that program. But he is back up here as assistant head coach. He's excited about the opportunity, has his hands in everything. He's, of course, the defensive coordinator from 2013 to 16 for the Ticats. And he's up in the booth now. He's wearing both headsets, says he's actually been more involved lately with the offensive side of the ball. But he noticed during the preseason what he's missed most, or what he feels he's going to miss most, is being involved in calling those defensive plays. It's a big adjustment for him to not be involved in that part of the game.
That's a big ad for the Ticats and the CFL.
And interesting strategy, too, to put him on the other side of the ball.
Yeah, it really is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Jackson, and he gets brought down. Simone Lawrence, the former Ticat receiver, with a big tackle.
Yeah, got it on the sideline. Well, there's a flag back deep, too.
Well,
see what this penalty
Simone
is.
Celebrating.
Illegal block, Hamilton number 25. 10-yard penalty, first down.
That's the newcomer Jamal Roll. That's a call you don't often hear, an illegal block against a defensive player.
Well, you can't go low. You can't go low anymore in football. This is part of the player safety initiative, part of the evolution of the game. He's to your right here, and this is where, you know, whether you're an offensive receiver or defensive player, you can't just go and cut unless you got the ball and you're making a tackle low. You can't just go and cut down a blocker like that. Can't hit below the waist or below the knees.
Benjamin now looks the other way and sends it deep. Jump ball incomplete. Intended for Tavares Daniels and well defended by Frankie Williams.
Well, they just played better as the game has gone on, and they've settled in. They're in position now, playing more confidently when the ball arrives. It's well played to avoid the pass interference call, too. Turn up through the hands of Tavares Daniels.
It's the way Davis Sanchez was showing us in the CFL preview show when he was working against Milt Stiegel. Second and 10. Four-man rush. That pass nearly picked off, and they're going to call pass interference on the play. Carriel Brooks, who has an interception, was eyeing a second and may have come through the receiver.
Yeah, he read this play so quickly. He ran the route for the receiver.
Pass interference, Hamilton number 26. Spot the foul, automatic first down.
But he does make early contact, and if he's impeding the receiver to the route this early, then I can see why the flag came out. But let's take a look. And here's Eric Rogers, who we haven't talked much about. That little bump, did it impede Rogers to the football? Because if it did, he's going to challenge. We can take another look at that, and it is close.
Remember that play I mentioned in the first half? It looked like a defender had gone through similar fashion, wasn't called. And this time, Brooks is called for a similar play.
I saw that one, though, the early one, more as a 50-50 ball where the DB has a right
Hamilton
to
is
it also.
challenging the previous DPI call or defensive pass interference call. This will be reviewed.
But June Jones sees this one as a 50-50.
Yeah. Well, he does run the route. I mean, he comes out of this break quickly. It's that quick out, and watch how quickly he reads it. Brooks reads it and comes up on this. I'm just saying that he gets there so quickly that, it's a close one. But for me, I wouldn't have thrown the flag, not the challenge flag, but the penalty flag. But he did make a little early contact. You'll see it here, and the question is, does he impede the receiver to the ball?
And
the ball hits him in the hands, too. I think I can read lips there. Was the ball
contact prior to the ball arriving? And
did he get the ball?
Bumped Rogers off of it.
See, I'm not sure he got the ball. Yeah. He didn't touch the ball. I think it's close, but there was contact.
After review, the ruling on the field stands of defensive pass interference. First down.
I believe that wave indicates June Jones' dissatisfaction with the ruling.
Well, I think it would have been overturned had Brooks got a piece of the football.
Right.
So he's coming through, breaking downhill to come through the receiver there, or just off the edge of the receiver, Eric Rogers. But if he gets a piece of the ball, it's a 50-50 shot. If he doesn't, it's early contact.
I guess the other question, do you save that challenge for something a little meatier than that? Is a Calgary first down, and the catch made by Markin Michel, who tripped up after making the catch, and the first down just beyond the 50-yard line. 13 for Michel.
Yeah, I think I don't mind the challenge from June Jones. Honestly, you take a look at a second down play. He's got a field position advantage. If he wins that challenge, and it was close, it was real close. So if he wins that challenge, he's getting the ball back in good field position. Now, one more first down, and Bo Levi Mitchell's looking at getting into plus territory.
Statistician Dave Moyer telling us that that's the first completion for Bo Levi Mitchell in the second half.
Wow.
He apparently didn't. Well, he's run a couple of times, or at least once, and they've mounted some first downs with the running game in this third quarter. Passing here complete. That's Richard Sendani, who's a terrific story. Former Calgary Colt, Regina native out of Campbell Collegiate, making his first catch.
University of Calgary, University of Regina, and then Campbell Collegiate in Saskatchewan, a high school that has produced some CFL players.
First down, and Jackson on the wet turf, able to cut back. And that is another first down for the Stampeders. So the passing game has not been as sharp as the first half, but the running game has evolved here in the third quarter.
Yeah, watch the big boys up front take care of business. And again, Williams, the center, getting out on Larry Dean. When you can get your center or a big old lineman on a linebacker, you can run the ball.
Now Mitchell loading it up with the move and overthrows Markin Michel. And we've seen some wide open targets that have been missed here by Calgary so far in the game.
Boy, he ran a sweet route. Watch this. A little bit of a in fake, and then planted that left foot in the turf and straight down and in behind Williams. And
Mitchell now 14 of 29. Second and 10. Over the middle, and what a catch. I thought Mike Daly had an interception, and Eric Rogers brought it down.
So did he.
There's the guy who led the Canadian Football League in receiving in 2015.
Well, second catch of this drive for Eric Rogers, and it's a tough one because you're right, Mike Daly he thought he had a pick. He steps in front of this. Again, reading the route.
14 yards, and now Terry Williams on the pitch. Upended as he falls forward across the 15-yard line. Back in the red zone and trying to punch it in for the first time on 5 trips this evening.
Eric Rogers, 14 and 15, averaged over 80 yards a game. That's like a 1,500 yard a year pace. Down a couple of years to the NFL. a late add to the Calgary Stampeders roster this year.
ACL injury after signing with the San Francisco 49ers. Really never got going south of the border because of the injury. Good to see him back here. Here's Mitchell throwing into the end zone. Back in the end zone. And the ball is caught, but out of bounds. Incomplete is the call. Kamar Jordan had it, but apparently did not get a foot down. He thinks he did. We'll get another look. Leonard in the cheese position. And no, looks like that left foot is on the white. The year went down to the wire. Looks like this one's going to as well. Ticats lead by 2 as we head to the fourth quarter.
Yeah, we like when there's a one-possession game going into the fourth. We've got that again here tonight. When you heard Bo Levi Mitchell, we rolled that clip, and Bo Levi Mitchell said when he goes back and thinks about his Grey Cup appearances, how it could be one play here or there. And, I think if they're going to fix anything, this Calgary team, as good as they are, it's green zone or red zone production. I mean, they are now 0-5 in this game in the red zone. They've had issues in Grey Cups. Last year, just outside the red zone on the interception. The year before in regulation, they're on the 1 yard line, didn't punch it in, and went to overtime, and Ottawa wins. And they finished last year in the red zone in dead last in the Canadian Football League at under 50%. So if there's anything this Calgary team can work on and fix, it's red zone production. I call it green zone because some coaches do, but green means go, red means stop. It's meant stop for Calgary.
Mazzoli will put it through, and the Stampeders have regained the lead. 12-11, early fourth quarter. Ticats home opener June 29th against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. They'll stay out west and play the Eskimos at Commonwealth next week. And very much in this game, in what has been Death Valley for a lot of teams over the years, going from Calgary to Edmonton or vice versa. I tell you, this Jeremiah Mazzoli's popular. I've had a tweet from Auckland, New Zealand, where they're watching Jeremiah Mazzoli. And the Ticats against the Stampeders. Here in the fourth quarter, there's the hitch, and Brandon Banks ducks under traffic and gets a couple of tough yards. Alex Singleton was hit hunting on the play.
Seen a couple of hit screens, and when you see him, it's Singleton coming from inside out to make the tackle. He's got 9 so far in this one tonight.
Just 9?
Yeah, just the 9, getting the double figures on the very next one. But when you throw those hit screens a couple of times for Jeremiah Mazzoli, the progression of that is a fake hitch, and Brandon Banks straight down the sideline.
Number 5 on the CFL top 50. 2nd and 8. Calgary shows pressure, a flag flies. Mazzoli throws, Tasker the catch. There's Singleton with another tackle as Tasker has his 7th catch. Looks like they're going to spot it just short of the first down, but the flag is going to negate the play.
Offside, Hamilton, number 13. 5-yard penalty, remains 2nd down.
Jalen Saunders missed his waggle. Yep, looks like he was a yard and a half over. They'll give you a little leeway. If you put your foot in the neutral zone, you're okay.
Had the play stood, it would have been the 7th catch on 7 targets for Tasker in the game. Mazzoli runs into the official, now guns it downfield, and Banks can't reel it in. Incomplete, punt team will come on.
Micah Johnson causes the problems for Mazzoli early. He's going to come right down the middle, and he is a load to try and handle here. He almost looks like he splits the double team. Now that causes Mazzoli to spin out of there, and then he runs into the official, and he had a couple words for the official there. Hey, you can't be in there.
Iralahu punts it away. 47-yard punt. Williams has a return up across the 45, 16 to the 46. There's big Micah Johnson. Two-time All-CFL defensive tackle. That's has become a force in this second half. He missed some time late in training camp coming off off-season knee surgery. Devon Claybrooks this week said, I don't want to get into too much, but it looks like he's over his case of campitis, because Johnson wanted to make sure he was back in the lineup for the season opener, and you played with a lot of vets that had campitis.
Oh yeah, Ray Elgard. He used to be
back on the guard.
Used to be game or practice number 3 every single year in camp.
Be a nick or two.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Those ones that are a little difficult to detect, like back spasms or something like that. It's
soft tissue issue.
Yeah, soft tissue issue, and it's going to be about 3-4 days. I could. and then I'll be back and ready to go. But Devon Claybrooks you can't fool him. He's done it.
Yeah, been there, done that.
Yeah, been there, done that.
And Dave Dickinson mentioned it's funny, closer to regular season, it seems the body heals quicker. Not just for Micah Johnson, but a few of the guys.
Exactly. And it's funny how it's always veterans.
Yeah.
A rookie is battling through campitis.
Second and 10 from the 46. And Mitchell looking deep, wants Jordan, and incomplete. And a flag comes down as he was bumped just before the ball arrived.
Yeah, I don't know about this one, though. It looked like to me that Anumba was playing the football. And again,
for pass interference, Hamilton, number 1. Spot the foul, automatic first down.
Just like Davis Sanchez said in the pregame, he was talking about the same thing, like try and get it on its way down. Don't necessarily have to go through the arms. It's a little bit early, but that's slow motion too.
Turns out to be a 39-yard penalty. And the pitch here to the speedster Don Jackson. Brought down by Lawrence at the 20, a 5-yard pickup. So back into the red zone for the 6th time in the game.
Maybe it's as simple as changing it to the
maybe
green
if
zone.
It's a green zone. It's they dig in. 2nd and 5. They stay on the ground, and Jackson, look at that second effort. He dragged Daly. It looked like
he might have
had the first down.
Yeah, he might have got there.
He was stopped short and ran through a tackle.
He was 2-3 yards short.
Excuse me, that's Julian Hauser that he carried for a few extra yards, and that's 6'3", 255.
A little bit of want-to in there from Don Jackson.
So double the rushing yards for the Stampeders on the night. First down at the 15. Mitchell, end zone, touchdown. There's the breakthrough to Kamar Jordan. And they hit 6 on their 6th trip to the red zone.
Penalty aided on the pass interference. But Kamar Jordan made no mistake here. He didn't wait for a defender to cut underneath this throw. Timing's there from Bo Levi Mitchell. but he comes back to the goal line to make sure he gets separation with Richard Leonard. That's the key in this route for Kamar Jordan. Nice timing on the throw, but Kamar Jordan keeps working back to the football.
5-play, 64-yard touchdown drive. That big pass interference call sets it up. Jordan 6 touchdowns last year, 1 in the Grey Cup game, and they'll go for 2. And they hand it off, and Terry Williams will scoot in. Untouched, 2 points. And it's the biggest lead of the game. Stampeders move up by 9. Just past the 5-minute mark of the fourth quarter. Mitchell connecting with Kamar Jordan. Includes tomorrow, Father's Day, final round action. All begins 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific. TSN 1 and 4. Brooks Koepka, Dustin Johnson share the lead along with 2 others at +3. And Shinnecock has not been kind this week.
Hey, shout out to everybody home watching in the county, man. I say I love you. Mom, I love you. All my boys, Lee. Shout out to everybody.
A 9-point Stampeder lead. Bennett on the return and powers his way across the 30-yard line.
Let's watch the route again by Kamar Jordan. I'll show you how he comes back. He's going to run this out here and then come back to the football. I'll show you how he does it now. Partly it's because Bull Levi Mitchell brings him back with the throw. But if this is thrown, stop it here. If it's thrown right to him now, then Leonard gets a chance. They throw it out in front, so it forces Kamar Jordan to come back hard to the ball and continue to separate from his defender. Even if it means coming back to just outside the goal line, that's okay too, to make that catch.
Fumble and 3 punts in the second half for the Tiger Cats, with 2 first downs in the third quarter, and receiver went one way, Masoli goes the other, and looks like Mike Jones was supposed to be the intended target. One thing about Jude Jones' offense that's notable is how small the receivers are. Banks at 5'7", Saunders 5'9", Tasker 5'11", whereas you've got some receiving cores where 6'2" is the average. And they got the 3 scats to the near side. That looked like pass interference, and it is. Emmanuel Davis was all over the back of Brandon Banks.
You can't have your you can have your hand on his back. You can't twist the receiver. So let's take a look here in the coverage from Emmanuel Davis. He can have that hand on it, but if he twists him,
defensive pass interference, Calgary number 8.
I'll tell you what.
Foul, automatic first down.
I want to say this about all the pass interference in this game tonight. I would prefer to see the officials let the guys play and get position a little bit more. I mean, by the standard of the rule, there's some early contact tonight, but I think you got to let them play a little more than that.
It's only that fastball through the hands of Banks incomplete. But we'll say from our vantage point, it looked like pass interference. The super slow-mo is a pretty easy way for us to make the calls after the fact.
Yeah, I get that, but again, if they're close, let them go. If they're not close and there's definite grab or tackle or twist or turn to impede the receiver, then you throw your flag. I think anytime you take your flag out of your pocket, you're changing the game as an official. I just like to see them. I mean, sometimes you see it in basketball where two guys, offense and defense, are going for the rebound and they're fighting for position and getting their body in position. I mean, this is football. Let them go ahead and fight for a little position. If that means a little incidental contact, that's okay. I think all of them tonight have been too close for these flags. But by the standard of the rule, there is a little early contact.
Banks to the sidelines after a cramp issue, and Ticats look at 2nd and 10. Again, have not won here since 2004. They have gone 0-2 to start 9 of the last 13 seasons. Last year, of course, lost 8 straight. Mazzoli may take off. No, he throws, and it's broken up. That's a terrific defensive play by Davis.
Yeah, see, Davis was pumped up because he felt like I did that he didn't get that earlier one, even though they threw the flag, so he's just going to keep playing his same style. It's the number 2 receiver is Tasker. He's going to run that crossing route all the way, and that's a tough one to cover because the receiver's running away from you as you're trying to catch up from behind. That's good closing speed from Emmanuel Davis.
Eastern All-Star 2015 when he had 5 interceptions and 3 touchdown returns. 43-yard punt, and Terry Williams escapes and then is tripped up after a 17-yard return at the Calgary 40. We've got a flag down on the field. But it's Stampeder football and a big defensive play by the newcomer to that secondary, Davis, against his old teammate. Here's Day-Do. All the fathers out there tomorrow, and it'll be a special one for the Collingwood clan. Father Cam is on our camera 11 celebrating the birth of Leo on June the. Well done.
Congrats. Camera 11 is that all 24 shot, by the way. See every player on the field.
Like they were sending pressure there. The ball handed off, and Jackson gets a couple. Simone Lawrence on the scene. I was asking you off air a little earlier. Jerry Glanville's known for living on the edge a bit, being a guy that'll have multiple defensive looks.
Right.
Is it because it's such a young group that we're not seeing a lot of it yet?
Well, possibly. Also, you know, I've heard that through the preseason they were pretty vanilla when it came to their coverage. Wanted to evaluate players, see who could cover, that kind of thing. So didn't do much. It's knocked down there.
Yeah.
But they didn't do really anything sort of in the exotic end through training camp in the preseason. So, you know, when you open up the playbook, because now it's the regular season, you're game planning for Calgary. You've got Bo Levi Mitchell, and you're trying to add those exotic blitzes, different defensive looks, and combination coverages. That's when some mistakes can happen, especially for a young group. And remember, I mentioned this group has, in total, in the back end, 30 games of experience. So that's why we're seeing sort of some peaks and valleys.
And a challenge from the Stampeders on that last play. And now Dave Dickinson wants to get a pass interference call. Richard Leonard.
Calgary is challenging the previous play for defensive pass interference on their number 15. This will be reviewed.
Yeah, well, this is an interesting challenge for Dave Dickinson based on the way it's been called tonight. Because tonight, some of that, you know, sort of incidental contact while 2 players are playing the ball has been called as a pass interference call. So, you know, I'm not surprised that Dickinson uses his challenge here. Let's just take a look. It's very similar to what we've seen. Defender coming, making incidental contact as he's playing the ball. Again, I'm not throwing a flag here if it's me, but very similar plays to that have been called pass interference tonight, so we'll see what the ruling is here.
Now, we got a text on the last ruling, and it said it materially Hamilton made contact with Calgary, materially impacting the receiver's ability to play the ball before it arrived. In that case, do you think that's the situation?
No,
it didn't look like it did it.
But I'm not sure.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. There's no defensive pass interference. 3rd down.
Yeah, and I'm glad that they sent us that communication. I'm not sure I agree with it, but I understand. I mean, in their eyes, it did impede the receiver. In mine, I'm not sure it did. I think you can.
In this case, the standard you were looking for applied.
Yeah, exactly.
I understand why Dave Dickinson challenged too. That's a big 2-and-out for the Ticats.
Absolutely.
They should get good field position. High High snap, pulled down by Maver. Another good boot. Frankie Williams from his 42, a 51-yard punt. And Williams reverses field. Can he get outside to turn the corner? Runs out of real estate and into the Calgary bench at the Ticat 52.
And by the way, and this is a great new initiative by the Canadian Football League, is now fans can go online and the league will actually explain some of these calls. I wouldn't be surprised at all if they put a couple of these pass interference on. You know, and they will, if you go online to the CFL.ca, you can find out how. They'll show the video. They'll have an explanation as to what the standard of the rule is and why they saw it as a penalty. So check out for some of those pass interference calls after this game.
Jeremiah Mazzoli, 216 yards first half, just 46 in the second half. Trying to change that here. Incomplete. Saunders went up but bring it down.
Go up through as a defensive back through the bottom on your way up, because the receiver, in this case Saunders on the outside, even if he elevates and high points the ball, well, he didn't do it. He tried to catch it in his stomach, and that's the mistake he made. He got up there but then tried to catch it with his pads, and you see the left hand levels right up through, and June Jones doesn't have a challenge to look at that.
2nd and 10. Gets live at McMahon. Extra man coming. Singleton clutching Mazzoli. Crossbody throw complete. And a beauty by Mazzoli to Saunders in front of Patrick Levels.
Boy, Nikita Whitlock playing some tailback tonight. He did a nice job of picking up a blitzing Alex Singleton. Singleton is coming off the edge, and he reads it, comes across, makes a key block to spring his quarterback outside. And what a throw across his body by Mazzoli.
14-yard connection, a first down to the 44. And off, and it's Sean Thomas Erlington now in the backfield with his first carry of the game.
No need to force it here for Hamilton. There's lots of time left in the game. They're in field goal position now. So Jeremiah Mazzoli's got to make good decisions with the football here on 2nd down. I mean, Jude Jones may even go to run play here. The guy was grooving it.
2nd and 3. Mazzoli 6 of 13 in the second half. Back to Thomas Erlington, and he's not going to get there. And it's decision time for Jude Jones.
No, but I like the call because you're in field goal range. You're down 2 possessions. So you're in field goal range. You kick the field goal here, lots of time. You got to rely on your defense. You don't want to put the ball in the air there and possibly get it turned over and lose your chance for points here. It was key to get points on this drive.
Ball on the 36, so it will be a 43-yard attempt for Hiralahu.
Now Hiralahu's got to make this for the strategy to come through.
And the new Ticat kicker does just that. 6-point ball game. Just under 4.5 minutes to go. And next up be the second half of the doubleheader. Rod and Dwayne are on the scene at BC Place, which means it could last up to 5 hours and 24 minutes tonight. No, there's a roof, so we're okay tonight.
Close the room.
Erna Jackson and the Lions, Jonathan Jennings and the BC Lions. Coming up. So the game very much still in the balance here in the season opener for these two teams. 40 returning players for Calgary. I think the surprising stat, 41 returning players for the Ticats.
Hey, that's the June Jones way. When you talk to players that have played for June Jones, they'll tell you that he's one of those coaches you love to play for because he cares so much about his players. His players as people. even before them as athletes. And he wanted that group that he put together at the end of last year back, as many as possible.
The only team with more returning players, the defending, or should I say reigning Grey Cup champions. Mark Trestman doesn't like the word defending. So now the Stamps back on the field, their last possession of 2 and out.
Got the running game going a little bit, though, at the end of the third and early in this fourth quarter. So I wonder if they go back to a little of that running game. You know, whether it's Terry Williams, who's had a couple of good ones, or Don Jackson.
75 rushing yards in the game. Calgary only had 5 100-yard rush games all of last season. Double tight end formation. And they give it to Jackson. Left side hole. Larry Dean hauls him down at the 36. And it's a pickup of 7. Jackson
Tackled awkwardly from Larry Dean there. I almost looked like he had him on a horse collar.
Yeah, it was close, wasn't it?
And then let it go. Yeah, just a fortunate for Dean, he didn't get a flag there, but
4th in the league in tackles last year. 2nd and 3. Gonna throw over the middle, knocked down. Larry Dean, back-to-back defensive plays, and the Ticat defense gets the job done.
Leader in the middle. This time he's kind of showing blitz, and then he's dropping out underneath, and that's what I mentioned. He's a tremendous run stopper from tackle to tackle, or in this case, they got double tight ends, but look how he reads Bo Levi Mitchell, checks the patterns, reads the routes, and cuts underneath that, gets his hand on it to knock it down. Not only was it a great play back-to-back for Larry Dean, but it happened quickly. Didn't take much time off the clock.
Williams awaits around the Ticat 30.
Over here! Over here! Over here!
Beavers had a good day punting. Williams from inside his 25. Still going. Decent return. Up to the 35 after a 51-yard punt. Jameer Thurman on the tackle. So Larry Dean sets it up with back-to-back defensive plays, and now it's the Ticats down by 6 with the football.
Coming up, part 2 of our Saturday doubleheader here in the CFL on TSN. Jonathan Jennings and the BC Lions missed the playoffs last year for the first time in over 20 years. They're up against the Montreal Alouettes as week 1 wraps up. Let's go back to Calgary, CC and Suits.
Could be a good finish here, Rod. First down, Ticats at their own 34-yard line. 2:41 on the clock. Wide side throw and a nice grab there. Jalen Saunders, who's already over 100 yards, has made his 6th catch of the game.
Well, Jalen Saunders knows that the way that Mazzoli can throw this wide side out, he could just come out of his break full speed. I mean, he doesn't have to gear it down to see if he can make the throw that far. He just comes out of his break full speed, knows that he'll lead him to it.
Had a 10-catch game against Saskatchewan last year. 2nd and 2. Whitlock in the backfield. Mazzoli to throw. And he's got another strike and a first down. Up at the 52-yard line. Back-to-back catches for number 13.
Mazzoli is making Devon Claybrooks defend sideline to sideline. Spreads it out, and what that can open up is a seam down the hash. Quick out of the third receiver here. Jalen Saunders back to back.
Trying to win at McMahon. The Ticats for the first time since 2004. Down at the 51, Whitlock, the ball carrier, big hole, and the former defensive tackle with a hurdle at the end to get to the 45.
Nice call. Nice tendency breaking call. The couple passes out of the gate from Jeremiah Mazzoli to Jalen Saunders. Looks like the passing game's going. They're getting the up tempo, and they go to inside zone play and get Whitlock down there with nobody making contact till he gets in the secondary. 12-yard run on a tremendous call.
5'10", 250, fumbled twice in the first preseason game. June Jones said everybody that's converted to running back has to go through that. A big run there to stoke this comeback. Mazzoli's in some trouble. Getting chased down by Micah Johnson and throws it up for grabs. Brandon Smith has the interception on a mistake by Jeremiah Mazzoli.
He knew it. He knew it the minute he let it go. He got in trouble. First of all, he got in trouble early, but he had Whitlock underneath if he holds on a second longer. But now he's in trouble. Again, Micah Johnson causing the problems. And when you're on your roll, throwing off your back foot, the veteran Brandon Smith makes him pay.
Third turnover of the game for the Ticats. The block punt, a Mazzoli fumble, a Mazzoli interception.
Right,
yep. Luke Tasker was in the neighborhood, but Brandon Smith has the interception. The Ticat defense has to get it back ASAP. For Smith, just one interception all of last year. But again, the only holdover now from 2008.
Veteran, but one of the things he does so well is come off the edge on that halfback blitz, Brandon Smith. 7 sacks in his career coming from the secondary, and that was just a veteran play to jump in. Pick down.
2nd and 7. Mitchell steps up. He throws. Complete. Kamar Jordan moves the chains. 4th catch for Jordan, who has the lone Calgary touchdown.
It's all on Bo Levi Mitchell here. Buy some time, step up, add some pressure from Tracy off the edge. No problem. As soon as you do that, now you're out in the open, it freezes defenders. They're not sure if to come up to tackle the quarterback or stay back in their coverage, and Kamar Jordan finds a hole.
4 for 77 and a touchdown for Jordan. 1 of 7 different receivers deployed by Mitchell today. Hand off Jackson, little jump cut, and off he goes! Open field! It's a touchdown! Don Jackson! A little breakaway speed and a 44-yard touchdown run.
Surprised on the defensive call from Jerry Glanville on this one for the Hamilton Tiger Cats to be just in a 40 front, a 4-down lineman with Larry Dean in the middle, and not just go ahead and try to run blitz this first down. They knew Calgary was going to try and run the ball to kill the clock. They played basically a vanilla type front 7, and Calgary makes them pay for it. Big run by Jackson.
Run game helped get Calgary pointed in the right direction on this day, and points off the Mazzoli interception. Turnover and a touchdown in the final minute to seal the deal. They're looking for 2 more. Pitch to Jackson. Trying to get the edge. Got it. Stretches out against Richard Leonard for 2 more. And it's 28-14.
I want to show you again the defensive front and the blocking that Don Jackson gets here. Here's the 4 linemen I'm talking about. So there's your 40 with Larry Dean in the middle. Now, if that center, Eucombre Williams, gets on the linebacker again, as he's done a lot in the run game tonight, That block right there, that opens it up. That takes away your run blocker with no blitz there, no run blitz from Simone Lawrence, maybe even from the secondary. It gives Don Jackson lots of space. Give a guy with that kind of speed and quickness that much space, and that's what happens. Ucumbre Williams. I mean, we've showed you a couple of highlights. Who's your lineman of the week? Is there a lineman of the week award? I just made one.
I think you just made one. Top offensive lineman for Calgary last year.
Top offensive lineman tonight.
The Stamps have a running back too in this. Don Jackson, 129 rushing yards for the team in the game. On the return, it's Sean Thomas Erlington. And Masoli back out for the final 32 seconds. They head to Edmonton next week. We saw some good stuff.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no. Hey,
Sacramento, California, the South to be exact.
Bo said it in his clip. Games, championship games, football games in the regular season come down to 2-3 plays and make a big difference. And you can bet that Jeremiah Masoli is going to take full responsibility on that pick. One possession game, 6 points. He's driving
out, and they're in just edging into Calgary territory when he turned it over and turned the game into Calgary's favor. Whitlock, a nice catch. Took a hit there, but kept going. And it looked like Cordero Law got the worst of it, and he's still down.
You know, we talked about it off the top. This Calgary football team trying to erase the bad memory of the end of last year. Move forward. So close in back-to-back years from the championship. Had to start again in that very first step, and they had the battle here against Hamilton.
Taking the first step, low throw by Masoli, incomplete. So Edmonton wins, Saskatchewan wins, Calgary wins in week 1. And the BC Lions will try and match that.
Got another one next week. Got a long way to go, baby.
Montreal Alouettes have other intentions.
I think back to that Grey Cup for Calgary and a couple of the key plays. One, Kamar Jordan.
Yep. Was only downfield. Nice catch made. Mike Jones brings it down. Zeros on the clock. Let's see, are they going to give them one more play or not? That puts Jeremiah Masoli over 300 in the game. And there was time on the clock.
Timer, put 2 seconds on the clock. Show so 2 seconds on the clock.
So they'll get one more play. Jones over 100 yards with his 5th catch for 120. But it was a sluggish Ticat offense in the second half for the most part after putting up over 200 passing yards in the opening half of play. See if they take a shot for the end zone. Wilkerson the catch. Like they wanted to get the lateral going, but time has expired and Dave Dickinson has yet another victory. Time now for the Nissan Titan player of the game.
Well, it'll be step by step to get back to that big game. This is one step in the first game. Remember that fumble by Kamar Jordan? He owned it, he let it go, and he said, let my play do the talking from here on out. He'll be our player of the game. 77 yards receiving on 4 catches, a big touchdown and a big catch late here to seal the deal.
The Nissan Titan player of the game brought to you by the Nissan Titan, the official vehicle of the Canadian Football League. So the final here goes to the Stampeders, 28-14. Let's check back in with Rod Smith.
Thank you, CC. Back with Henry and Maddie and Milt as we look at the Montreal Alouettes getting set. Chris Williams, remember BC Lions last year. Look at that old Alouette logo. We're talking 1960 stuff they're unveiling there. The helmet only there. It's still the regular Alouettes colors. So they're going retro start of this season. And going retro, they want to go retro in terms of wins and forget the last couple of years post Anthony Calvillo. That's another story. We'll set it up. First of all, this one, though, and the Hamilton Tiger Cats. I mean, as said at the half, this wasn't a 60-1 deal. They were in this game, but Calgary being Calgary, and we've said this before, too, they don't always cash in, but they find ways to win football games.
Well, guys, if I had told you that Bo Levi threw for under 50%, would you think Calgary won this game?
Yes.
Would you think? Oh, you think so?
All Bo does is win. He's 57-10-2 over the course of his career.
Well, that just shows you how good of a team they are. I mean, teams like Calgary, they find ways to win games. Look at this. Renee Parrott is 4 for 4 for field goals, all in the red zone. Yeah. The defense found ways to get turnovers when it mattered the most down the stretch, when all the pressure was on Masoli. They found a way to get a turnover. Special teams found a way to make plays. The running game stepped up. Don Jackson, a big run to help seal the deal.
Yeah, with Jabbar Wall coming down to strong side linebacker and a couple changes in the secondary. It was Brandon Smith in the secondary made the biggest play of the day, basically, coming up with a pick and a poor decision by Masoli. But you got to be in the right spot, and an 11-year veteran got that done. And to me, that's just leadership. A leadership that was voided by a lot of people exiting the program last year. And Brandon Smith showed his pedigree and stepped up.
As I alluded to earlier, they will not dominate like they've done in past years, but they will still win games. And they will win games. Majority of the games they'll win, they'll be just like they won today, just like they just won right there. They'll start off strong, they'll allow the team to come back in, but they'll finish it up at the end because of the talent they have. And I love that running back tandem. Williams and Jackson, I love those guys. They're very shifty. The new receiving core. Eric Rogers, he has to get back in shape. We saw that. But once he gets back into shape, talented offense.
Okay, coming up, BC plays. Two teams didn't make the playoffs last year. If you're going to pick one that's going to bounce back in 2018 between the Alouettes and the Lions, which one would it be?
I'm going with BC. I'm going with BC. I just think that they're a very talented team. They just need Jonathan Jennings to make some reads, take good care of the football, because to me that defense is good enough, and they have a great running game and skilled players that he can lean on.
You know, Rod, too often people ask you questions on the street, and you don't give them the real answers, right? And you asked a question that a lot of people have been asking me lately about Montreal. I think they set the bar too high last year at 3-15. I've told a lot of people that, and I think they're hard-pressed to win 3 this year. So I think BC is going to be the team to bounce back, although in the Western Division, which is extremely loaded right now.
I love what Cavis Reed has done with that defense. They have some talent on that defense. Even though John Bowman won't be playing tonight, they got some dogs over there. But offensively, I don't know how they're going to get it done. If I'm Ernest Jackson or Chris Williams, I'm like, hold on.
Got some players.
But they don't have anybody to throw it to, those guys, Henry. Who's going to throw it to them? You can't throw it to yourself. I don't care who's out there. They don't have anyone who can throw it to them.
Well, we talked about Hamilton struggling playing in Calgary. Go back to 2004. They still haven't won since 2004. BC Place, that's a tough spot for Montreal historically to play. They're going to see if they can do it tonight, but here come the Lions. Part 2 of our doubleheader coming up.
Over on the completions with Willie today.
Oh, okay. Where are you going with that?
11?
11?
11. Over.
11? Over.